And we're going to go to Rachel in Boston. I guess it sounds better when it's Roxanne. What's up, Rachel?
Hi, John. How are you?
We were partying. Literally partying. How about you?
It's so cool to be talking to you. My fiance is super jealous because he wants to be on this call, but
Is it about him?
It is about him.
Oh, yes. Why isn't he on?
He's at work right now.
Well, it's what he gets for having a job. We get to talk about him. All right. So what did you do?
Okay. So my question is, how can my fiance make solid friendships? And so I wrote in because I know how important it is to have solid friendships to spend time with and show up for each other whenever there's a need. My fiance and I are getting married at the end of this month, and he's been disappointed by many of his groomsmen who are the closer friends that he has. But over the years, I haven't seen them reach out or do anything that wasn't convenient for them. My fiance is so thoughtful and always willing to help in ways that amaze me. He doesn't receive the same level of care that he puts out for them. It's coming to the point where he'll say, I don't need anyone anyway. And that makes me really sad and also concerns me. He is so deserving of great friendships. So my question is, how can he find and develop better friendships to create a solid group of guy friends?
So can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
You promise you'll answer?
Yeah.
That sounded like the most eloquent way of saying, I don't like my husband's friends.
Yeah.
Do you hate his friends?
That's a strong word. I wouldn't say that.
I know, because you're an eloquent kind of person, but do you hate his friends?
I still don't think I would say hate.
Do you You're so ridiculous. Do you strongly dislike them? No, even worse. You know what? I don't think you hate them. I think you're disappointed by them.
I'm disappointed. That's the word. Yes.
like you're their third grade teacher. I'm just disappointed in you boys.
Yeah.
So are these his like ride or die buddies? Have been around for a long time?
Some of them, yes. Some of them, they've all known him longer than I've known him.
How much of that plays into this? Here's why. And you can tell me I'm wrong. It is not uncommon for a fiance to come in and be jealous of the one thing that a group of friends, that an ex-girlfriend or an ex-boyfriend, they're always going to have this one thing, no matter what. We could have kids, we could have a home, we could have whatever. They will always have this one thing on us, time. They'll always have those jokes I wasn't a part of. They'll always have these get-togethers I wasn't there for. They'll always have this one time they all got drunk and they did this, or that one time that... Is that part of it?
No.
Okay. You promise?
Yes.
Okay. So really, in all honesty, if you mind your soul, if these guys were ride or die and he was hanging out with them once a week or once every couple of weeks or whatever, that would fill you up?
Yes.
Okay. And so you're watching somebody that you love get treated like crap is what basically is boiled down to.
Yeah.
Okay. The unfortunate answer here is you can do nothing for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to choose that he's worthy of having friends that actually are worth being friends.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard. You don't like that answer?
I wish I could do something, but I do recognize that it's up to him.
Do you have friends?
Oh, I have the most amazing friends. I'm very blessed.
Okay. What is it about him that he doesn't see himself as worthy of having friends?
I know that when he was younger, he was picked on and he was kind of left out of everything. So he doesn't have the highest self-esteem in that area.
Okay. Is there some of your friends' partners that he could hang out with? Like, do y'all do couple stuff? Sounds so gross when I say that.
No, not in this area. They're all kind of spread out across the country.
So I would tell you, you're going to need to make new friends in your area also.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're, how old are you?
25.
25. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. And I'm going to paint you a very depressing picture. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right. So your entire life since you were 0 has been curated. You go to elementary school, you go to pre-K or kindergarten, and then elementary school, and they put you on the same row. Like you're on the Red Robins row, and you're on the tennis racket row or whatever. And you're on the baseballs, you're on the basketballs, whatever. And then you go to elementary school, and it's like some of you play kickball, and then some of you hate kickball, and then those become your friends, and the like sweaty dudes are like, yeah, bro, we're all into kickball, like they become friends. And then you go to music class, and it's like ta ti ta, and some people are like, oh my gosh, and some people like their soul lights up. And then it goes to middle school, and then high school, and then you get into theater, into sports, or whatever your thing is, or doing nothing is your thing. And then you go to college, and you have a major and a sorority, or whatever the thing. Everything is optimized for you. You go to the military, you go to community college, and you have group projects, whatever the thing is. And then you get out into the real world, and you get married, and you move to your new town, and it's you versus the whole world. What do you do for a living?
Me?
Yes.
I currently, I'm switching jobs.
Okay, what are you going to be? What are you going to be doing?
Camp director.
Okay, so if you get somebody to go to your camp, it's going to be because they didn't go to somebody else's camp, and that other camp is going to put promotional materials and come up with new rides and new like learning objectives or whatever to get kids from your camp to go to their camp. And you're going to spend your time trying to get kids to go to your camp and take care of those kids that are at your camp. See what I'm saying? It's you versus the world now. And you're going to have to find your friends, your ride or die, your best friends in the world. They're going to get married, and they're going to have families, and it's going to turn into weekly calls or everyday calls, turn into weekly calls, turn into texts, turn into long strings of emojis and funny back and forths. And maybe annual get-togethers, and then biannual get-togethers. And if you're not careful, you wake up and you're 33, and you and your husband are sitting on the same couch, and he's on ESPN Fantasy Sports, and you are researching pallet walls or whatever it is you're into. See what I'm saying? And what I just painted you the picture of the American life right now as we're all living it. Unless you get hyper-intentional, Rachel, get hyper-intentional about making friends in your new area, new friends, new relationships, new ride or dies. And if you make that a part of your life, your husband's going to have to not choose to opt in, but he's going to have to choose to opt out of that. And it's easier to it's harder to opt out of something than it is to opt in. See what I'm saying? So what I'm telling you is the greatest gift you can give him is the practice of making new friends. Hey, once a week, we're going to have somebody over. We're going to have a messy house, and we don't even care. And we're going to meet a couple of people that we work with. We're going to meet a couple of people at a local church or at the gym or whatever, wherever we meet folks. And we're just going to be weird, and we're going to go first. And I've made some of my life's best friends doing that. And I've had some of the most awkward, worst interactions of my life doing that too. Does that sound nutty?
That sounds like really good advice.
But it's also depressing. Like in a not in a like clinical way, but it's like I want to be friends with my friends forever. I did something this past weekend. So I went to Texas for some speaking events, and I had 4 events in 3 days. And I went a day early. I just turned in a book draft. I am exhausted out of my mind. And I went to hang out with some of my 30-year-old friends, my oldest friends on the planet. 2 guys that I trust with everything in my life. And I haven't lived in this city for 5 years now. And the first thing, I got off the airplane, and I traveled so much. I lived in this community for 20 years, and I couldn't quite remember the right exit. And I remember thinking, whoa, that's weird. And then we all hung out, and their kids were old. I didn't even recognize 2 of their kids when they walked in the room. I was like, oh my gosh, they got old. And then I realized, like, we are still best friends. I still love those guys. I love their wives. I love their kids like they're my own. And we have very different lives now.
Hmm.
And there was a sense of grief and a sense of mourning and a sense of loss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we did everything together all the time, always. Even something as simple as I went into the garage and my first thought was like, when did y'all get these cars? And why didn't you tell me? And then it's like, oh, because you live 2,000 miles away, idiot, right? Like I'm outside of that little loop. That's going to be your life, whether you want it to or not. And so if you're intentional about what comes next, it's a totally different ride than if you just, it happens to you and suddenly you wake up and it's gone.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And if you're watching your husband get beat up all the time, there is something profound about sitting across from a man and holding his hand and looking him in the eye and saying, you're an absolute badass and you're worth more than this. And I'm proud of you and I want you to find men who respect you like I do.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was married for 15 years before I had the courage, and I was embarrassed to do it because I was ashamed, to tell my wife, hey, it would mean the world to me if you just called out that you're proud of me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I was tearful. I was weeping. I was like, man, I can't believe I'm having to say this out loud. Not that she hadn't said it, but I can't believe that this means something to me. And it did.
Mm-hmm.
And when she was like, oh my gosh, I wish I'd known because I'm so proud of you. I tell everybody. I just didn't know that was a thing that you needed to hear. I felt weird. It was a reorientation for me. Like I could stand up a little bit taller.
Yeah.
And when people blow me off or they're ugly or they're rude or whatever, like I can move on with my day because I got her by my side. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's like a reinforcing thing. And I know that sounds weird that you don't want to be the person reinforcing him, but man, it's a powerful thing to have a woman who loves you look across the table and say, I believe in you and you're worth more than this nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
I'm throwing a lot at you. What do you think back? I feel like I freaked you out a little bit, Rachel.
I just process a little slow.
What's he going to say if you sit down and tell him that?
That I'm proud of him?
Yep.
Oh, I tell him that all the time.
Yeah, but I mean it. And tell him that he's worth good friends.
I have meant it.
Well, good. Keep telling him.
Yeah, I can do it more often.
Awesome. He's lucky to have you. I want you to be worried about the things that you can control, which unfortunately are not how many friends he chooses to have. What you can control is how many new relationships and new friends you make in your new town, at your new job, in your new community, in this new life you're building together with your fiance. That is what you can control. And invite him along for every step of the way. And don't make him go to weird things where people wear super short shorts and boat shoes, but like cool things. I don't know, that may be cool for you guys. And don't make him play golf. But like invite him to cool stuff and give him a voice. But make friends a part of y'all's new life together. And I promise he'll pick up that baton and make friendship and connection an important part of his life too. Thank you for loving him so much, man. The world needs more fiancés like you.